What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, where today we're going to be looking into the 9 map trailer and asking ourselves why only certain people got affected by the zombie mist when the two artifacts were put together. In the trailer for Voyage of Despair, we see that the bubble is used as a protective shield and that anyone outside of this mist is going to get affected and turn into zombies, including the guy who actually activated it himself. He activated it by putting the two artifacts together, which is actually properly called the staff inside of the game. So this artifact is actually called a staff, but I'll call them artifacts anyway. He put them both together, they connect, they make this little zombie shield, and anyone inside of this shield is protected. Anyone outside of it, as you can see, once he gets kicked outside the shield, he turns into a zombie, as well as everyone else on the boat. However, if you look at the 9 trailer, you can see that the guy in the middle, who we don't know his name yet, he's the only one that I can see that's actually inside that bubble. Everyone else is outside. The guy in the middle is fine. The few prisoners, if you like to call them that, the prisoners turn into zombies, and everyone else in the crowd are fine. The people in the crowd are fine, our 4 characters are fine, the other gladiators who come out are fine. It's literally just these few, like 8 or 9 people who were unfortunately chosen to become zombies. But why only these people? It's really interesting to see this, because you would have thought if it was just the mist and anyone outside the bubble would turn into a zombie, that every single person in the crowd would become a zombie. Everybody who turned into a zombie would be into a zombie, all of our characters would be zombies, and the gladiators, as well as anyone else in that area. Now, there's a few things that I've picked up on here which might answer the question. So first of all, I've asked myself the question, does the guy activating the zombie mist get to control who it affects? In other words, does the guy in the middle with the mask on get to control who this actually affects and who this actually activates on? I don't think it does, purely because when we look at the Voyage of Despair trailer, the guy who activates it, he ends up turning into a zombie, which is something that I don't think anyone would do voluntarily. If it was down to that person to choose who would get turned into zombies, I doubt that person would choose himself. I would say this one can get ruled out, and it's not down to the person controlling it who they want to get turned into a zombie. My second thought, or second question, was does this mist only have a certain small radius that it affects? So maybe it has a little protective bubble, and then outside that bubble, anyone who's within say a 10-meter radius will get affected. Anyone past the 10-meter radius will be in like another protective zone, almost like the people in the crowd, for instance, they didn't get affected. The people in the building, like our gladiators and our 4 characters, they did not get affected either. Only the people who were just outside of that circle, but not outside of that other small radius. Now, I would say this is actually a pretty good one to go off of, but again, looking at Voyage of Despair's trailer, when they have the little protective bubble, they kick the guy outside of the bubble, he turns into a zombie. He's within like the radius, that's fine. All of a sudden, it goes through the ship, and you see everybody on that ship turning into zombies, and you've got a lot of zombies on that map, and that's how you get the zombies, obviously, with Voyage. That radius on Voyage of Despair is a lot bigger than the radius on 9. And we know this because we've been told by Treyarch themselves that Voyage of Despair, or the ship that is going to be on Voyage of Despair, is going to be the biggest map that they've ever made. So Voyage of Despair is going to have so many different rooms, and when you actually play it, it's going to be the biggest map to date in terms of zombies. It's going to be bigger than any zombie maps we've ever had previously. This includes 9 and Blood of the Dead as well. So taking into account that Voyage of Despair is the biggest map we're going to get, and taking into account that everybody on Voyage of Despair's map, everybody on the ship got infected, apart from the 4 characters inside of the bubble, makes me think that it doesn't really have a radius, or if it does have a radius, it's definitely not small by any means. With the radius of the ship being bigger than, say, the Colosseum, this means that everybody in the crowd should have been affected, and everybody in the crowd should have also turned into zombies. Which then I noticed something else which is interesting. The next 2 I'm going to put in sort of like 1. So you notice how the guy in the middle in the 9 trailer is wearing a mask. Everybody in the audience are also wearing these golden masks. However, our 4 characters are not wearing masks, and then the gladiators also do not wear the golden masks, but they do wear some protective headgear. It could be something to do with the masks that are protecting the people in the audience, the guy in the middle, potentially, but then it still leaves the question as to why the gladiators and the 4 characters aren't affected. We could probably come up with the fact that the 4 characters have some sort of special blood, considering that they're breathing in this alchemy which puts them in this era. But the gladiators, I'm not sure why they wouldn't be affected. And what I also noticed as well, not just wearing the masks, but everybody again, apart from the fighters who are the gladiators, and apart from the 4 characters, and obviously the ones who got infected, everyone apart from those were also wielding staffs. Now again, these staffs might protect them in some way or another, or in one way or another. Somehow they could be protecting them from this mist into turning into zombies. That's just what I've noticed just from watching the trailer. Again, nobody in the Voyage of Despair trailer were either wearing masks or holding the staff to protect them from turning into zombies. So this could make some sort of sense, but again, the 4 characters and the gladiators were not holding staffs or wearing masks. I then thought to myself, well, what if before these trailers, like, these people potentially would have eaten something or drunk something which would react to the mist to turn them into zombies. Maybe the fact that they're prisoners, maybe that they were force-fed something, whether it's a liquid or food, maybe they were force-fed something which would eventually react with this mist to then turn those certain people into zombies, and which would also mean that everybody else was safe. Everybody in the audience was safe. Everybody who was about to fight these zombies was safe. So that was just something else that popped in my head. Maybe it's to do with a consumable of some sort that they had before the actual trailer started. And my last little thought about this, which is to do with the one individual guy who unfortunately had like the huge zombie pop out of him, like the boss zombie pop out of him. Why was it that this chained up guy was special? Why was he special in any way? Why did he have the worst mutation out of anyone else there? Like, he breathed the exact same smoke as all the other people who turned into zombies. He should have turned into a zombie. The fact that he was just chained up with his arms being pulled back, there must have been something different with his biochemistry. Whether he ate something different, drank something different, whether it was literally did something different to him in some way, which would have meant they would have done the same to the other people, but done something slightly different for this guy to have this boss zombie come out of him. But in terms of looking at the guy who was chained up and looking at the other people who were just shackled by the hands, there's nothing different with them. They're just people. You don't see any differences with them. It's just one guy turned into a boss zombie, whereas the others just turned into normal standard zombies. And to that, I don't really have much of an answer or a theory right now. It'll be something that I'll definitely keep in mind and look at future like trailers and stuff, trying to figure out why this is like the case and why this has happened. We don't see the boss zombie return in Voyage of Despair. It would have been nice to see it, to try and get like another side of it. Maybe we would have understood a little bit better as to why that actually popped up again. But all we see is this guy who's shackled up and he turns into, or has a boss zombie break out of his chest, and then the boss zombie has like green goo coming out of his mouth. That's the only thing like you can really look at it right now. And like I say, there's nothing I really have as a definitive answer. And if you have any answers on this particular one, then do put down in the comments below. As well as also let me know out of everything that I've put up on here, which you think is the most likely, or if you've noticed anything else that's different between the people in the audience and our fighters and our characters, as opposed to the people who actually turn into zombies. Is there anything that you think I missed that would be the reason why they turned into zombies, but not everyone else in the audience? Obviously, because everyone in the audience are wearing masks and the guy in the middle is wearing a mask, we don't actually know if they're already zombies, but zombies who are conscious, who has like an understanding that they're zombies, but they can also control other people, they can control the things. But out of the possible options that I've presented today, which will be wearing the masks, wielding the staffs, possibly eating something or consuming something before the trailer started, possibly the mist having only a small radius which would only affect certain people, or the guy in the middle having an effect and controlling the mist in a way that he can control who it affects. Out of those, is there any of those that sort of pop out and make you think that's actually correct? Because to me, like, these are all valid in one way or another, but there's also things I could look at them and go, that's not true because of this. And then with a lot of them today, I've explained why in this video. I would like to see your guys' opinion on it as well, because obviously it's still an open discussion. I just wanted to bring it up because I've literally seen nobody talk about why only certain people have been affected. Thank you for watching this video. I don't know how long it's going to be, but hopefully it's a little bit in detail. Hopefully it's made you think about potentially why these people turn into zombies. I'll leave the video there anyway. So if you like it, go ahead, leave a like rating, and possibly subscribe to the channel if you like my content. I do zombies content, so if you like it, then please do subscribe. Help me reach 2,500 subscribers. Comment down below your thoughts and opinions on what you think about this. And without further ado, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch all of you in the next one. Peace out. If you will tell me I'm the only one that you like to be with.